How do you explain her?
Kobe Bryant with a ponytail. Seriously, like apex predator, great basketball player who wants to steal your soul.
Every building she goes into, there's a different energy.
Just bounces off that, drops it in, and she'll go to the line. And look at the emotion.
And to see all those people, oh my gosh.
We're on the bus and we're all just kind of like, oh my gosh.
You're walking out into a sea, like quite literally a sea of gold.
She's advanced, man. She could do a lot out there.
She's playing at a full different level right now. And America is watching.
Hi, Caitlin.
Hey, what's up, Caitlin?
Caitlin.
Hey, Caitlin.
Caitlin.
Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark.
She's growing Iowa's economy.
Tim McGraw comes out on stage in Des Moines wearing a Caitlin Clark jersey. I mean, it's bananas right now.
They sell out every road game. It's like a rock band tour. They sell out every road game.
Coming off a screen, top of the key, swish.
If you were an opposing coach game planning to stop Caitlin Clark, what would you do? Pray.
She is the greatest scorer college basketball has ever seen.
If you're a coach on the other sideline trying to slow down Caitlin Clark, what's the actual plan? Do you press her the moment she crosses half court? Do you lean on her every time she moves without the ball, fight through every screen, and make every cut uncomfortable? Do you blitz her the instant she starts a dribble and drill into your team's head that she cannot be the one who decides this game? And then it doesn't matter. She crosses midcourt, barely hesitates, pulls up from the logo, and all of that preparation disappears in an instant.
Wow! You bet! From beyond the logo! And a little point afterwards. She knows how to spark the crowd.
And just like that, the scouting report is useless before the shot even drops. Analysts scramble for comparisons. Some see flashes of Kobe Bryant, relentless, fearless, ruthless, with a ponytail. Others point to Stephen Curry, the range, the audacity, the way gravity bends the defense. In Iowa, she isn't just must watch, she's box office. Not a nickname, not a hot take, an actual economy, a traveling show at Beatles level scale. She's why road arenas are packed to the rafters and why ticket prices spike into NBA territory, all for the chance to witness whatever she decides to do next. But long before the sold-out crowds, before the records brushing shoulders with names like Stephen Curry and Pistol Pete Maravich, there was just a kid in Des Moines, Iowa, a kid who couldn't stand losing, who cried when it happened, who refused to come back the same afterward. Caitlin Clark didn't fall into competition by accident. She was molded by it, raised in an environment where everything was a challenge, every moment was a matchup, and nothing, absolutely nothing, was ever taken lightly.
It's shine the brightest. You know, I always grew up watching the game. I had cousins that played, so, you know, just a super, super competitive family, and I loved being around sports.
It started with older brothers, cousins, and endless weekend battles. Sports woven into every free moment. If there was a ball involved, there was a winner. And if there was a winner, Caitlin wanted it to be her. Her parents still talk about those early scenes like they happened yesterday. Torn up soccer fields, cramped gyms, oversized jerseys on a too small frame, and rims barely high enough to qualify. And yet, there she was, pulling up from the free throw line on a 6 or 7 foot hoop, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Like this path had already been written. On the soccer pitch, she blew past defenders and finished without a second thought. On the basketball court, that same instinct showed up immediately. The nerve to shoot, the belief to rise, the hunger to demand the ball when it mattered most. Even then, she carried herself like someone who knew the moment was coming and planned to be ready when it arrived. But keeping up with the boys was never easy. Caitlin Clark spent as much time as she could running with her older brother and his friends, right up until they decided they couldn't let her play anymore.
Grew up watching the game. I had an older brother that played basketball, so I always tagged around with a lot of boys, and I think, you know, that kind of helped me like develop my offensive skill set at a younger age a little faster than most people would. And then when I made that transition from boys basketball to girls basketball, I was, you know, already kind of a step ahead. And, you know, I always had the will to want to be better, you know, and I played up usually throughout AAU.
That phase lasted well beyond elementary school and followed her into middle school, long after most girls had moved on from those courts and fields. The boys were bigger, quicker, stronger, and they didn't ease up for anyone. Every bucket, every win had to be earned. Nothing was handed to her. She lost plenty, and each one cut deep. The tears weren't about weakness. They came from confusion. At that age, defeat simply didn't compute yet, and she hadn't learned how to accept it.
Playing with the boys, like I played with the boys, honestly, I think until about 6th grade, which is probably a lot longer than most girls. And my older brother was always just bigger, stronger, faster, so whenever I wanted to play with him and his friends, like I just got picked on or you know, I never won really anything. I really struggled with understanding losing, and my parents did not really appreciate that at all. Whenever I would lose, when I was in either softball, basketball, whatever it was, I would just cry. That was my immediate reaction because I couldn't comprehend why wasn't I winning. And my mom always said, like, if you want to play with them, you got to find a way to hold your own.
Her mom didn't sugarcoat it. The message was blunt and unapologetic. If you want to run with them, you have to take what comes with it. No special treatment, no safety net, no mercy. That lesson sharpened her early. The same edge that would one day show up in logo range pull-ups and ice-cold step-backs was born much earlier, as a second grader determined not to be the liability in a driveway game. By the time she reached 6th grade, the stakes jumped. Caitlin stepped into the AAU circuit with Iowa Attack, a program built to mold elite talent into relentless problem solvers.
Circuit around 6th grade, I want to say. And then probably by like 8th grade, I knew like, okay, like this can probably like be my future. Like I can go to college. Like I want to be a pro.
This was the same pipeline that once developed future NBA champion Harrison Barnes, and now the bar was even higher. The competition was no longer just kids from Des Moines. It was the best talent from every corner of the country. Every weekend meant another gym, another test, nowhere to hide. The attention came quickly. Recruiting letters started landing before she even reached 7th grade. Coaches all said the same things when they evaluated her. She reads the game on a different level, plays without hesitation, demands the ball, and dictates tempo like someone far beyond her years. By the time she arrived in high school, it was obvious this wasn't just another star in the making. At Dowling Catholic in Des Moines, Clark averaged more than 27 points per game over her career. As a senior, she pushed that number beyond 33 a night. Gyms stopped feeling like practice spaces and started feeling like performance venues. Even in the classroom, teachers had to shut things down when her competitive edge kicked into overdrive. Opposing coaches needed only a few possessions to understand what they were watching. The best player in the country. And it wasn't just scoring. She earned spots on USA basketball youth teams and collected gold medals along the way. By then the word was already out, but the rise wasn't perfectly smooth. One summer before her junior year, Caitlin Clark showed up at USA basketball tryouts and didn't make the final roster.
On the team.
Yeah.
And that seemed to fire you up just like it did Jordan when he didn't make the varsity team.
I went to tryout the next year. And honestly, I hurt my pinky during training camp, but like I kept playing, like I was fine. But also I just played really bad. I didn't deserve to be on the team. So I think, honestly, like that's one of the lowest points of my basketball career is like, you're on the team the previous year, you win a gold medal, and then you go back to try out with all your teammates from the prior year. But I think it really allowed me to like find another fire, and I think it just pushed me to work even harder and get better and, you know, want to prove people.
Just a year earlier, she had pulled on that same jersey and left with a gold medal. This time, the call went the opposite direction. Cut. For her, it was one of the hardest moments she'd faced in basketball, but she didn't fold. She converted it into motivation. By then, the pattern was already set. Get knocked down, get angry, come back better, sharper, hungrier. When college recruiting reached full throttle, Caitlin Clark had her pick of the country. The final decision narrowed to Iowa, Iowa State, and Notre Dame. Elite programs, big names, national spotlights. Still, her reasoning never got complicated. She wanted to stay close to home. She wanted people she trusted around her, and she wanted a coach who truly believed in the way she played. Iowa checked every box.
It takes a lot of thought. Like it's a big decision. It's where you're going to spend the next 4 years of your life. So took quite a few visits, and eventually like my top 3 were Iowa, Iowa State, and Notre Dame.
Mostly because I love the schools, but at the same time, I knew I wanted to be close to my family. But obviously, Coach Bluder, she's one of the best coaches of all time, the winningest coach in Big Ten history. On my visits here, I always love the girls, I love the town, I love the coaches. So it kind of just seemed like everything kind of fell into place, and this is where I should be. And now that I'm here, I know I definitely made the right decision, and I've loved every second.
Lisa Bluder, the winningest coach in Big Ten history, was already in place. Jan Jensen made her belief unmistakable, flying halfway across the world just to see Caitlin play with USA Basketball in person. That kind of commitment mattered. It spoke louder than phone calls, text messages, or glossy recruiting pitches. There was no theatrical signing day reveal, no manufactured suspense. It simply felt right. The most celebrated recruit in the country chose to stay home. And when she arrived in Iowa City, there was no easing her in, no freshman buffer. From the moment she stepped on campus, the ball belonged to her. Starting point guard, offensive engine, the face of the program from day one. The collision was inevitable. On one side stood Lisa Bluder, structure, discipline, system first. Basketball. On the other stood Caitlin Clark, a controlled chaos creator whose most dangerous moments often came from 28 feet out. Defenders draped all over her. Inside the program, people described that freshman season as tense but never toxic. Pure competitive friction. A legendary coach shaping a generational guard, and a generational guard who only knew how to play one way. Once the ball went up, there was no containing her. Caitlin didn't just put up good numbers, she ripped through the Big Ten. She led the nation in scoring. She won Big Ten Freshman of the Year. She became the first freshman ever to claim the Dawn Staley Award, given to the top guard in college basketball. For most players, the game felt fast. For her, it already felt slow. Her sophomore season was supposed to be the natural progression, and it was. Fans finally returned to arenas after the COVID seasons, and viewers across the country tuned in just to watch her. Iowa games stopped feeling like routine matchups and started feeling like full-blown events. Every night brought logo threes, audacious passes, and stat lines that looked like someone maxed out the video game sliders. The accolades kept stacking up. Another Dawn Staley Award, Big Ten Player of the Year, more noise, more attention. Then March reminded everyone how unforgiving it can be. In 2022, Iowa was stunned at home by 10th-seeded Creighton in the second round. A sold-out Carver Hawkeye Arena fell silent. 40 minutes erased the dream of a deep tournament run. For most players, that kind of loss just lingers. For Caitlin Clark, it became fuel.
My goal is always to win a national championship. That was my goal no matter where I went. So I think that and just taking a program to where they've never been before would be really cool and awesome, especially doing it in your home state.
As her junior season approached, the entire program tightened its focus. The goal wasn't vague anymore. It was Final Four or bust. Everyone understood what that path required. The right breaks, favorable matchups, and relentless work. Caitlin Clark took that standard and raised it. Game after game, the floor felt slower to her once again. No hesitation, no forced moments. When Iowa needed a score, she manufactured it. When the team needed a spark, she delivered the pass before the defense even realized it was vulnerable. Carver Hawkeye sold out every night. Road gyms packed in just for a glimpse. At some point, she stopped being part of the show and became the reason everyone showed up.
Clark from the logo! She gets it out of that left hand, and it's money. You bet! He's trying to redirect a pass. Clark, oh my! Clark, can she answer? Of course. You better be careful, there might be another one coming right here.
Ally Ducharme has good size.
Clark steps into a deep three.
A long three by Clark.
One writer captured it best. People weren't buying tickets to see the Hawkeyes anymore. They were coming to see her, and when March Madness tipped off, she treated the tournament like it belonged to her. Georgia tested Iowa and reopened scars from the season before. This time, they didn't break. Iowa survived. Colorado tried to slow the run and couldn't. Then came Louisville, and everything shifted. That wasn't just a victory, it was a warning shot to the rest of the field. Step back jumpers, logo range threes, no look lobs. Caitlin Clark put up 41 points and a triple-double in an Elite 8 game, announcing to the nation that this was her stage.
Comes Clark. How will she go for history? There it is! The all-time leading scorer in women's college basketball.
This for college basketball history. She does it with a foul shot.
Caitlin Clark becomes the all-time leading scorer in major college basketball history. Passing Pistol Pete.
No player, men's or women's, had ever put up a line like that in the NCAA tournament. On paper, it sounded impossible. Watching it live, even more unbelievable. From there, Iowa powered straight into the Final Four. Waiting on the other side was a juggernaut. Undefeated, defending champion South Carolina, riding a 46-game win streak, looked untouchable. Everyone expected a blowout. A quick run, the usual separation, a storybook ending. Caitlin Clark refused to follow that script. Step back threes, clutch buckets, absolute confidence. Iowa stunned the reigning champions, sending the Gamecocks packing and turning. The entire tournament upside down. The national championship didn't end the same way. Iowa fell just short. The trophy slipped through their fingers. But what came next mattered just as much. Listening to Clark speak afterward, it was clear this was bigger than stats or wins. She carried the weight of something far greater, and she knew it.
Special, and I don't think it's going to set in for me for quite some time. I want my legacy to be the impact that I can have on young kids and the people of the state of Iowa. And I hope I brought them a lot of joy this season. I hope this team brought them a lot of joy. I understand we came up one win short, but I think we have a lot to be proud of and a lot to celebrate. And I was just that young girl, so all you have to do is dream, and you can be in moments like this.
By this point, Caitlin Clark had outgrown the label of star. She had become an economic force. People even started calling it Clarkomics. According to a nonpartisan research group, in just 1 year, she generated over $50 million in economic activity for Iowa. Tickets, hotels, restaurants, local businesses. The impact didn't stop at the arena. Whole communities felt the ripple of her presence.
The Caitlin Clark effect can be described as a statewide and even a nationwide phenomenon.
There's huge economic impact, not only for our state and our region and things like that, but for all of these other universities and properties where she's playing.
The Clark effect is apparently not just an economic enhancement. It also has an intangible effect.
Now the young people are moving here. It's because of people like Caitlin Clark. It's because of the job opportunities here. We've turned this place into a cool place to live.
Ticket prices for her games soared to heights that made some NBA playoff seats look like bargains. Fans were spending hundreds just to step inside the arena. The signs in the building told the story better than any chart or spreadsheet ever could. People flew in from Boston just to watch her. Others drove 10 hours straight for the same reason. This is the Caitlin Clark effect. Earlier in the year, she set the record for the highest ticket price in women's college basketball. Now, she's pushing the highest session average ticket price in tournament history. What a phenomenon. What an absolute force. Caitlin Clark, truly a monster in every sense.
The Caitlin Clark effect. The highest ticket price in women's college basketball happened earlier in the year. Now this has to be the highest sessions average ticket price in the history of the tournament. What a business. What a monster, Caitlin Clark.
With the first overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark from the University of Iowa.
In the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
The expectations weren't exactly fair, but they were real. Fans wanted immediate wins, packed arenas, viral highlights, a full-scale transformation on day one, and Caitlin Clark delivered some of it right away. The logo range threes carried over from college. The flashy, precise passes followed. So did the cameras, the ticket frenzy, and the soaring ratings. But the WNBA doesn't hand anything out for free, and Clark was stepping straight into that. Reality. From her very first game, the league made it clear. This is a different level. Defenses were physical, sometimes downright reckless. Hard screens, bumps off the ball, contact on every drive. Fouls came with a message more than a whistle. Some veterans welcomed her, showed respect, taught her the ropes. Others wrote her off, labeled her a media creation, insisting respect only comes with championships. And the critics, they weren't far behind.
Carter and Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? I think that's going to be a flagrant one. And
I'm talking about in college. Who plays the style that how?
What
Kate
is the
plays?
style? Just threes?
Wow.
What,
Not just threes.
what is her style?
Second page. Next question. So if you had the #1 pick this year, you would take Paige over Caitlin? Absolutely.
Does Caitlin Clark need a championship to be considered one of the greats in women's college basketball history?
Yeah.
Overrated. Not all that. Claims of pretty privilege, of white privilege. Suddenly, a 22-year-old rookie wasn't just navigating pick and rolls. She was thrust into the center of a culture war she never signed up to lead.
Off the court and all the way up to the tunnel, this was a long conversation, and I love Aaliyah Boston pouring into this young rookie. It's supposed to be hard. This is an adjustment period, and Aaliyah making sure that her rookie knows we have your back. I love that leadership from Aaliyah Boston. It has been a hard first half.
At the same time, victories weren't coming quickly. Indiana had earned the top pick for a reason. They were rebuilding, struggling to find consistency. Every loss became headline material. Every misstep was analyzed endlessly. Even a hard foul turned into a full-blown debate. But behind the daily grind, something familiar was taking shape. Caitlin Clark was learning all over again, adjusting, absorbing contact, breaking down film, discovering new reads, building chemistry with Aaliyah Boston, recording her first WNBA triple-double, and hitting her first real pro-level logo range shot. Game by game, glimpses of the same scoring genius who torched college defenses began to emerge. Through it all, her mindset never wavered.
At times can make us a lot harder to guard. I think get just as much joy throwing a really good pass to my teammates as I do making a logo 3 hard, and even myself harder to guard because sure, you can take away my shots and stuff, but I'm going to find a way to get my teammates open, and I take a lot of pride in that.
He spoke about loving a perfect assist just as much as a deep 3. No ego, no victim mentality, just pure focus on playing and getting better. Here's what too often gets overlooked. Caitlin Clark doesn't just fill stat sheets. She reshapes expectations. She's pushing everyone to reconsider what women's basketball can look like, feel like, and accomplish.
Logo! Clark with a deep 3.
Anything you've been waiting for.
Clark, nice feed. Wallace with the layup. And Caitlin Clark catalyzing a comeback here.
Bonner gets denied by Boston. Wheeler finds Clark from the logo.
Look at Wheeler staring to the right side, knows who's there, drop pass behind. Could be the deepest shot we've seen Caitlin Clark make as a pro. Big one.
And is building.
The edge, the swagger, the confidence, the shot selection that makes you shake your head and then rewind to watch it again. That energy has always been celebrated on the men's side. Now it's inspiring a whole new generation. Boys and girls filling gyms and driveways, trying to mimic her moves. Caitlin Clark doesn't need to be anyone's female version. Not Stephen Curry, not Kobe Bryant. She is herself, the kid from Iowa who wrote WNBA on a scrap of paper in 2nd grade and chased that dream with everything she had. Her story is far from over. More records are coming, more sellouts, more viral nights, and yes, there will be more tough losses, more criticism, more pressure. That's the price of living under a spotlight that never dims. One thing has never changed. When she gets knocked down, she comes back stronger. From crying over youth league losses, to being cut from USA Basketball, to heartbreaking NCAA tournament defeats, to carrying a state, a college program, and now a professional franchise, her response has always been the same: work, relentless, unyielding work. The question is no longer if Caitlin Clark will show up, she always does. The real question is whether the people around her, coaches, officials, executives, media, can rise to meet the moment. You don't need to worship a star to build around one. You need to protect your talent, respect the business, and recognize the value being created. Caitlin Clark is transforming women's basketball in real time, not just by playing the game, but by forcing the sport to choose comfort or growth, old rules or bigger vision, fear of change, or letting a kid from Iowa pull the game forward, one deep shot at a time. Her story is bigger than one player, one era, or one viral highlight. Caitlin Clark didn't demand the spotlight, she earned it. Possession by possession, shot by shot, loss by loss. Every level tried to humble her, every stage tested her, and every time she adapted and returned sharper. What she represents now goes beyond box scores and highlight reels. She proves that women's basketball can be loud, profitable, polarizing, and undeniable all at once. That stars can drive culture, revenue, and conversation without being softened or packaged. The game didn't bend for her, it expanded to keep up. Here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Growth always creates friction. New money makes people nervous. New faces challenge old power. Caitlin Clark didn't invent that tension. She just exposed it under the brightest lights. And this is only chapter 1. Careers aren't defined by rookie seasons. Dynasties aren't built in a single year. The shots will keep coming, so will the noise. The difference now, everyone is watching, whether they like it or not. If you want the real stories behind the clips, league politics, player tensions, business moves never shown on broadcasts, Courtside Leaks breaks it down every week. The whispers in the hallways, not the press conferences. The backstage twists, the angles no one else will show you, because the future of basketball is being written right now, and Caitlin Clark is just the beginning. Hit like, subscribe, comment, share. Stay locked in with Courtside Leaks, your source for the unfiltered truth behind the WNBA headlines.